It was funny because going into Big House, I wanted to beat Leffen the most because he called me Grandpa on Twitter. He like said something, and then like called me Grandpa and just like burned me, and I was like, all right, Leff, I'll remember that.
I don't think he would word it the way I'm about to word it, but I think that Mang0 and Leffen very much have this sort of big brother, little brother sort of relationship. And you can see it from just the social dynamic they have when they're in interviews together.
I was winning tournaments when you were in diapers, when you were just a little baby. You guys know this guy's a Mang0 fan? He's actually a huge,
I was a Mang0 fan,
Mang0 fan.
like year one. And year one is not that long ago for me. That's like 2010.
What a Mang0. I remember I saw you in a video. You had the tag. You had the Neo tag.
And then I lost, just like you.
Just like me, yeah. That's part of it.
And he used to, I don't know if he does anymore, but he used to admit to being one, right? He used to be a self-admitted Mang0 fan, at least on Smashboards back then.
I think the first set that I think of when it comes to me and Mang0 is the very first set we played in tournament, really, where it was just me, Mang0, loser semis of Apex 2014, yeah.
And immediately, you could crouch cancel it, but wait, before we even talk about that.
Going into it, I think I took game one and I just like kind of ran with it. It went really well, but I think everyone kind of expected like me to just get washed because Mang0 is so amazing versus Fox, and I had this whole thing where I still needed to prove myself and I still knew I could do really, really good, but I had never gone up against Mang0. So
I was commentating, and you know, I know a couple people in the YouTube comments were pissed off about it, but whatever, you could suck it. I started singing the Star Spangled Banner on Pokemon Stadium as Mang0 was fighting Leffen, and right as I say, and the home of the brave.
Home of the brave.
I don't know how did that happen. Sometimes I think I get really lucky when it comes to commentary, but that match was just so dope. There were so many cool moments between both of those players, and you could just tell, even if it wasn't grand finals, you could tell that they both really wanted to win, so they put their all into it, and because of that, we were able to see like the sickest melee ever.
Oh my goodness, that was very, very West Balls-esque. Oh, Mang0 with the creative stuff. The Build-A-Bear combos. Bomb Soldier, are you watching? Are you watching? Bomb Soldier. Oh. Good stuff by Leffen with that get-up attack, saying, get off me. Oh, but this is trouble. Oh, that's it. That's the second jump. He sure doesn't. 2-1 Leffen. What a set.
There were basically two eras in Mang0 Leffen to me. There was the era where Leffen wasn't quite on Mang0's level yet, and Mang0 for some reason would always just dumpster him game 5. So the classic there is, I think that was Apex 2014. And Mang0 just like, that game 5 on FOD.
Because he can fall through them, get a couple of dares chained together. Yeah, I don't agree with Leffen's decision here. Look at Falco getting all these free follow-ups. Again, 9%. Wow. Dumpster! We're not getting a 4-stock, are we? This could be it! This is it!
So memorable. Because that was like, nah, you're not on my level yet, kid. Like, get back in your lane.
I think that was the first time we ever played, and it was like, to this day, people love that clip. Like, it's super iconic. The dip into the pop-off and everything.
In the end, Mang0 ended up 4-stocking me on Fountain, kind of like a statement of just like, you know, like I still had a lot to go, even though I'd, you know, like risen up and like kind of separate myself as like an up-and-comer. I still needed a lot before I could like truly challenge him, you know, like, and take a full set.
And then now that Leffen's like that dude, I think Mang0 also won this set, but I think that like one of their most memorable sets was probably Genesis 4. And I was just like slobber knocker game 5.
The Genesis sets where it was both times we played were in losers. It was for 5th, I think, both times, and they were both game 5, super close sets, super hype sets, and you know, Genesis always has this reputation, right, where it's like in this big theater and everyone's just really hype, and you know, historically it's been a Mang0 tournament, like tournaments that's really important for him. So I think both of us really wanted to win, And like Genesis is also a really important tournament for me because it was the first major I went to, and the first major I went to, I saw Mang0 Armada Grand Finals. So it was like one of these things where I like looked up and saw them play, and I knew that I wanted to be there one day. And so both of those sets were Mang0 won the first one and I won the last one.
More, I feel like always one of them seems to do good at a tournament and the other doesn't, and like never the same tournament. So like a lot of the time they just don't end up fighting for whatever reason, or they're on the wrong, so they're seated the wrong way. But when they do fight, it's always a spectacle.
So I was doing really bad at Melee for a little bit last year, and I got 13th at GTX, getting upsetted. And then the week after was Big House, and I tuned into Mang0 stream, and someone told him his bracket, and he's like, oh, you have Leffen in quarters. And it's like, oh, nice, that's easy. And you know, I didn't say it then, but I was just really mad because I'm like, man, I don't want to be this guy that people look at, oh, this is an easy matchup. And so I tried really hard. I ended up 3-0ing him in that time, kind of as a revenge, right? And then from that point on, I went on and won 5 straight sets. And then kind of what broke the streak was this Big House, right? And before Big House at Evo, I kind of like jokingly called him and Grandpa, because he hadn't like won anything in a bit.
It was funny because going into Big House, I wanted to beat Leffen the most because he called me Grandpa on Twitter. He like said something, and then like called me Grandpa and just like burned me, and I was like, all right, Leff, I'll remember that. I feel like me and Armada were like having really bad sets lately, and I feel like me and Leffen took on like the hype of like, you know, me versus Swedish guy, whatever. So it's like me and Leffen, like even when we both play bad, which happens pretty often, or if one of us plays bad, like Fox Falco's so much fun to watch, and like somebody just gets destroyed, like, and it happens so quick. So I think me and Leffen are just, as long as we're doing Fox Falco, which I don't see it changing, I think our sets will always be pretty entertaining. Just because I think, my personal opinion is that that's the best matchup in the game to like watch, to play, to talk about. So I think we just have that going. We're like really homey, but I know I hate losing to him, and I'm 100% sure he hates losing to me, like, you know, vice versa. And so like when I lose to Leffen, like the other top players, like they won't really like shit talk at all. Like it'll be very subtle. But with like Leffen, since we're like homies, we'll always like throw jabs at each other. So like when we play, there's like way more on the line. Like I hate losing. Like I think he beat me those 4 sets, and like he would always just talk his little trash, and I just couldn't say anything. So it's a good relationship with like, you know, friends, and then like, you know, once it's time to play, it's time to play. Like we don't even know each other anymore.
Big House 8 this year, Leffen versus Mang0, like the people were jumping in their out of their seats, going absolutely nuts. And whenever it's Mang0 versus Leffen, regardless of who wins, people just love to see them go at it, dude. Because like Mang0's Falco, in an age where Falcos are losing to Foxes, Mang0 will go Falco and he will give Leffen a good fight. And it's good to see that, you know, even in the absence of PPMD, we still have people who are showing that the bird can still do it.
So after the Leffen set, I actually think I cost myself the tournament because when I did the pop off, I had my HTC headset, or they're really good headphones. I really like them, and when I stomped, I popped off and like I stomped on the headphone, and I didn't realize it until I went backstage. I was getting ready to warm up, and like I just didn't have music anymore, so I was like, damn. And then the only person I thought who would have had, because the HTC has a different kind of port, so I needed a specific kind of headphones. And the only person I thought who would have the headphones is Leffen, but I'm like, I can't ask him because I just beat him. So I was just like, damn it. So I went the rest of the tournament without music, which probably played some part, like kind of, you know, I was warming up with music, and then like I just lost the music. So that kind of sucked, but I think the pop-off was pretty good, so I think it might have been worth. But I played H-Box. I keep, like, he 3-0'd me, I'm pretty sure. But, like, every game's always winnable. Like, I keep losing last stock situations to him. Like, even, like, our last few sets, like, I get kind of destroyed, but they're always winnable. Like, it's always, like, within arm's reach. And, so I make a few different decisions, like, in neutral, like, throughout the set. And I think, you know, a lot of that could easily be, like, 3-0 me, 3-1 me. So it's, like, I'm close. Like, he's been kind of beating me a lot, but, like, I usually, like, it's always respectable. I, like, even if I get 3-0'd, it's, like, it's so close, you know? Then I had to play Plup, and I don't know what happened when I played Plup. It was just like Evo again, where, like, I just couldn't do anything, and then I was just chasing him, and he was hitting me, getting all kinds of free knockdowns and stuff. So I don't know. Against H-Box, they were close. Against Plup, I don't even know what went wrong. I think I was just kind of defeated at that point. So the Mang0 even-numbered Big House dream ended at 3rd place.
So me and Mang0 ended up playing in the bracket, top 8 winner semis, like just like at Big House, and it was a really, really close set, just like at many other tournaments. It was 3-2, super back and forth. He took the first game really dominantly on Yoshi's, which is kind of a stage where like that happens, but I really felt like I really need to bring this back, and then I did for game 2. Then he kind of played badly on game 3, but then he came back in game 4, and then game 5 was just kind of super back and forth. He ended up taking it game 5, and I think both of us realized that like we played sloppy, but especially in some moments where we just totally spaghettied. But I think both of us had like the right idea, we just couldn't quite nail it. And that's kind of what happens a lot with the Fox Falcon matchup, where you hurt each other so bad for every mistake that like you start doing more mistakes because like, oh no, I did this, I need to not do that again, and that kind of makes you do it again. Then we ran it back in losers, and Mang0 walked up to me and said, I didn't think you'd beat Wizzy so fast, because I actually lost to Wizzy early in the tournament, 3-2. And this time I 3-0'd him very quickly. So he didn't get to warm up very much, he said, or like he wasn't really ready. So the first 2 games I took them pretty, like, not super by a large margin, but I had to control the entire game, and it felt like I was in complete control. And then I kind of like got settled with it, and I almost started thinking in my head like, okay, time for grand finals, how do I beat Han-gyu Box? And then he turned it up and dominated game 3 and 4, and then game 5 I decided after Pokemon Stadium didn't work out as my last counter pick that I would just, you know, like I needed a momentum change, so I just went FD, started out with like an almost certain death, and from that point I felt like just ever so slightly had control of the match, and I ended up taking it. But so overall this tournament, I think we went 6-6 in matches, like dead even, game 5 both times, and super close games. And I think they were sloppy, but still very hype sets. Like they were very back and forth, very entertaining. Even like, I'm sure to watch, but also just to play. It is always fun to be like, I need to do better, you know, like, and then he surprises you with a touch of death, and then you go and do it right back. Like, I think that's kind of the essence of Melee in many ways.
Leffen, like, you know, there's like Stream Leffen and like Twitter Leffen. In person, like, he's still got like that little fire to him where he'll like throw a little jab at you, make fun of you, whatever. But he's like way cooler in person, just a good sense of humor. He's just like, he's funny. He's just like, wait, I don't know what happens like when he gets on Twitter, but like, he's a whole nother person. But that's always kind of been his thing. I wouldn't say he's fake or anything, because like Twitter Leffen definitely shows in like real Leffen. It's just not as drastic, I guess. So like he definitely plays it up a little bit, but like, you know, overall, like yeah, we're just homies until like we have to play.
I think it's just really exciting to like pick up a new game, find out what's new with everyone, try to see what's broken, try to see what's fun to play, see if I can find a character I like. And I think Mang0's gonna do much the same. I don't think either of us are like really trying super hard to compete in it necessarily, but I think, you know, we all want to give it a fair shot. Like the Smash Series in general has given us a lot, so to not even give the new game a fair chance, I think is, you know, like, it's just stupid.
So with Ultimate releasing, knowing that both Mang0 and Leffen are going to be streaming the game in the future, I will say that as a person who already had experience commentating a match of Leffen versus Armada in Smash 4, I think it would be more likely for me to want to give the edge to Leffen if ever Leffen and Mang0 were to face off against each other in Ultimate. But knowing that, again, Mang0's that kind of person that if he puts his mind to it, he can be super sick. So I'm willing to be pleasantly surprised